Almost all of the programs that we write require some sort of input from the user. For example, most apps today have a login or a register page where the user can provide their information or input to either access the system or to create an account on the system. The input that the user provides you needs to be captured somewhere for processing. We capture the input provided using variables. Now there are 3 steps you need to follow in order to read input from the user. Those include prompting the user, reading the input, and then storing that input in a variable. So in the first step, we prompt the user, which means we let the user know what we need from them. And this can be a simple print statement providing information about what data is required. So for example, here I have a variable called user age, and I've provided the value 18. This means I'm hard coding the value, which means this value is not coming from any user. It's just I've provided that value. And if I want to change this value, I would have to manually give it another number, right? But if I want to read the user's age, the first step would be to prompt the user. So prompt user. The prompt would look something like this. It would be a print statement, which would say, please enter your age. So if I run the program now, it just prints out, please enter your age, which is a prompt for now. Now the second step is to actually read that input from the user. And to read the input, we need to use something called a scanner class. Now scanner is a class, just like basic program is a class, but it is written by other developers, and you can just bring that class into your code so that it helps you in reading input from the user. In order to use the scanner class, you need to create a scanner object. Now, at this point, you might not know what is an object. You might not understand that whole concept, but it's something that will come up later and you will understand it better then. For now, it's just really about understanding why you need it and knowing how to write it. So you need a scanner object, and in order to create a scanner object, we write it this way, scanner, and we give it a name. I'll name it input. You can name it whatever you want. Then equal to new. This is a word that is always there. You don't change it. And scanner. Now this word and this word always stay the same. So the only word you can change here is this word. The rest will always stay the same. And if it helps at this point, you can even memorize it. So scanner input is equal to new scanner, and then in bracket you mention system.in. So you're letting the scanner know that you're trying to read the input, which is why we use system.in. And if you notice here, system.out is to print something out. So that would mean system.in really is to read something in from the user. And then you end this line with semicolon. It is giving me an error because right now my program doesn't know what is scanner. I told you it is a class, but it is a class written by other developers. So in order to access that class, you need to bring that class into your program. And in order to do that, what we do is at the very top of the file, before your class even starts, you write import java.util.scanner. So now you have the scanner object, which is input, and I know that I need to read an integer. The age that the user is going to provide me is going to be a number. So there is a method that you can use from the input object. So if I write it this way, input dot next int. This code basically reads the input from the user. If you just put this step for now, this code for now, and you run the program, you'll notice that once the program prompts you, it is waiting for you to provide a number. It doesn't end the program. You cannot see the green line that is usually shown at the end of the program. So after the prompt, it waits for you to provide the input. And for example, if I provide 20 and press enter, now the program ends, because this statement is actually waiting for the user to provide a value, and whatever value is provided, it captures that value for you. Now the final step is to actually store, because at this point we're not storing, we're only prompting and we're only reading. To store this, what you would say is, I will use this variable. Now initially I've provided it a value of 18, I can get rid of that. And here I can say user age is equal to. Now it's very similar to when we wrote user age is equal to 18, right? So you took the value 18 and you stored it in user age. This time you're capturing the value from the scanner, which is reading the input from the user, and then whatever the value is, you're storing it in user age. And that is how you actually read. So prompt and then read plus store. In order to see if the value was actually stored, you can print it out. You can say age is, and then age. So if I run this now, oops. Oh, this is user age. So if I run this now, and I provide it, let's say 25. Oh, sorry. If I provide it 25, you can see the same value that I provided is now being printed, because that is the value that is stored in the user variable. Now there are many other data types that you can read. So for example, right now here you have int, which is why we're using next int. If this was float, because user age is float, and on the left side you have a float variable, on the right side also it should have been next float. If this is double, this will be next double. And if you notice, there are many data types that you can read with next that we looked at in the last video as well. For example, if this was a Boolean, you will also read next Boolean. So depending on whatever you have on the left side, so on the left side you have a variable, you have to check what the value, you have to check what the data type is of that variable, and accordingly use the method that you have for that specific data type. So I think that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, see you in the next one.